and how we've worked diligently and intentionally over the course of the last many months to prepare and welcome your scholars back in a meaningful way. The team that you're going to visit with today is our remarkable teaching and learning team. You're going to hear from Jeremy Willie, Robin Gonzalez, Barb Erickson, Melissa Sanchez, Andy Bedeau, Jill Kind, and Tanya Drake, to really just talk about some of the tools, whether it be the family toolkit or the Scholar virtual backpack, ways that we have been just really diligent to make sure that first that we front load you as critical partners to the success and the brilliance of your child, and so they can launch into a successful experience. One of the things that we are certainly committed to, and it can't be understated, that we want to come alongside you and achieve the hopes and dreams of your scholars, that we believe in the brilliance of your scholars, and that is the essence of our work. And I'd be remiss if, on behalf of the team here today, if we didn't thank each of you for the grace that you've afforded us as we've tried to just do the very best job we can to provide communication, to provide meaningful experiences for your scholars. So thank you for your grace. At this time, we're going to start with a video that Superintendent McIntyre has provided to us, and then we'll launch into the presentation. Again, thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Michael, we don't have sound.
Possible in this most unusual school year. The last 6 months has been challenging for students and families. I know you miss your friends, your teachers, and the community that surrounds you with care and support every day. We miss you too. We are determined to help you have a successful start to the new school year. These webinars will help scholars and their families learn about a brand new school called the Distance Learning Academy, make effective use of digital resources, understand how we're keeping students and staff safe, and gain insight into how our staff are re-envisioning what it means to do school during a pandemic. Thanks for watching. Thank you for your support of Osseo Area Schools.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our family engagement presentation entitled Supporting Students and Families in Learning. My name is Jeremy Willie, and I am the Director of the Department of Learning and Achievement. With me today are a number of members from our Learning and Achievement team, who will each be sharing meaningful information with you today. Team members, as I introduce each one of you, please wave to our audience. First, we have Robin Gonzalez, Assistant Director of the Department of Learning and Achievement. Barb Erickson, our Interim Coordinator of Elementary Curriculum. Melissa Sanchez, who serves as one of our digital learning specialists. Andy Bedeau, who's our Coordinator of Digital Learning and Instructional Media. Jill Kind, our Coordinator of Secondary Curriculum. And Tanya Drake, who serves as one of our Staff Development Assessment Specialists. The outcome of our presentation today is that parents and families will learn about curriculum and technology resources designed specifically for students. They'll be provided with resources that will help support with student learning, and also to have an opportunity to ask questions about the department. A new virtual student backpack website has been created for pre-K through 12th grade students as a support with core technology tools and curriculum resources to support learning in hybrid and in distance models. Students will find information about what a particular tool is and how to use it, with tutorials and guidance with support documents, videos on how to log into sites such as Clever, or examples of how to use Google Suite tools in Seesaw or Schoology.
The Student Virtual Backpack was created for elementary students. On this page, Students will be able to find all the online resources for math, reading, and science, along with additional resources like Tumble Books and National Geographic, where students can find fiction, nonfiction, books, and articles for independent reading. Each icon is a link to login directions or direct links to the resources. Many of the resources in the elementary virtual student backpack have one login, so when students click on many of the icons, they log into Clever. Clever is the web-based portal students use to log into district curriculum and online resources. Programs that use the Clever portal include Seesaw, Benchmark Universe, Vocabulary, and others. Here is one example of what students will find in the virtual backpack, the link for math apps. When students click on this link, they will have access to all the virtual manipulatives for bridges in mathematics. Students can use these virtual manipulatives in place of the actual materials to engage in math activities, games, and to solve math problems. One example is a math clock. With the virtual manipulatives, students will be able to engage as they would with hands-on manipulatives. Also in the elementary virtual student backpack, students will find direct support for the core technology tools that they will access. Students can click on the icons to get step-by-step directions for how to log in, along with video tutorials.
As Barb mentioned, OSSEU provides a core set of technology resources for students, including a mobile device, a digital learning platform, and a productivity suite. These common technology resources ensure that students and families have a common experience across the district, and district staff can more easily and efficiently provide tech support and help to students and families. Students in grades K through 3 use an iPad as their digital learning device, and students in grades 4 through 12 use a Chromebook as their digital learning device. Seesaw, which is new for elementary schools this year, and Schoology, which is used at the secondary level, are the digital learning platforms in OSSEU. Digital learning activities and assessments, including links and resources, can be accessed by students on a daily basis. OSSEU G Suite is the productivity suite used by students in grades K through 12. Students can communicate, collaborate, and create with these web-based tools, such as docs for word processing, sheets for spreadsheets, slides for presentations, and much more. And Google Meet is the virtual video conferencing tool that teachers will be using to connect with their students online.
In addition to support on our core technology resources, the secondary student virtual backpack has additional resources. Managing Google Meets, assignments, assessments, and other deadlines can be challenging. We have shared a few digital planners with students to help them keep track of these. Additionally, since secondary teachers all use Schoology, we wanted to provide a tutorial on how to use the built-in calendar in Schoology. Tanya Drake, Staff Development Assessment Specialist supporting the Distance Learning Academy and science teacher at Park Center Senior High, will provide a brief tutorial on how to use this valuable resource.
Tanya, you're on mute.
Somebody had to do it. I apologize. I took some screenshots from a fake student account that I have created, so you can see some of the features in Schoology. On the right-hand side, you'll see that there's an upcoming list that'll show your students' assignments. If you click on them, it'll tell you what course, and it'll take you to them. But I want to focus on the icon up on the top that's circled in yellow. That's a calendar. And if you click on that, it will take you to a calendar view that's on the next slide. If you go to this calendar view, you're going to see a calendar that has all of your students' assignments and any events that a teacher has loaded in or that a building has loaded in. If you click on one of those, it'll pop open in a window like the one that's open there, and you can double click on it to actually go to that assignment, or you can hit the view button and go view that item. But it'll show you on the calendar any upcoming assignment or any event that has already been added by the teacher. There are also some options for students to add things or sort the calendar on the next slide. If you look at this slide, it's just a zoomed in version of that calendar. The student view will have a little button at the top that says all calendars. If they click on that, they'll be able to actually just choose specific classes that they want to see the calendar for, so that they don't have to see everything for every class. They can just hone in on one specific class. If you look down on the 10th, you'll see that I've highlighted a little plus button. If you hover over that number, that cell, it'll pop open a plus, and the student can add their own items. And so they can add an item like a group study meeting with a friend, or an assignment that is somehow being done, or even progress, like I think I want to have this part of the assignment done by the 10th, and so I can put that in my calendar as an entry. It's a great strategy for students to help manage their workload and what's coming up. And that is what it looks like when you click on that event. It'll let you add your own event to your calendar. You could also sync this calendar then with a student's phone or another device, so it can show up on their phone with all of their due dates.
And that explanation is provided in the video tutorial in the Student Virtual Backpack. The best resource for students to contact for support with physical resources is their classroom teacher. We have listed a few subject-specific resources on this page. Two of them are calculators, the graphing calculator and the scientific calculator. There's also a periodic table of elements and an atlas. As we gather feedback throughout distance and hybrid learning, this page is likely to grow.
A new Parent and Family Toolkit website has also been created for pre-K through 12th grade parents and families as a support with core technology tools and curriculum resources to support learning at home. Families will find information about what a particular tool is and how to use it with tutorials and guidance with support documents.
On the Elementary Parent and Family Toolkit, you will find links to resources to help support your students' learning and growth. The icons will lead you to curriculum resources and social emotional supports for you and your student. For example, the benchmark literacy icon leads to a library of guided reading books at varying reading levels to access at home. Clicking on the Benchmark Universe link will bring you to Clever, where you will sign in as your child. In Clever, you will again click on the Benchmark Universe link, and one of the choices will be the library. In the library, you can choose the grade level and have access to instructional materials and books for your child's grade level and reading levels. Another resource on the Parent and Family Toolkit is Bridges in Mathematics. When you click on this link, you will have access to home support for Bridges in Mathematics. Math at Home is one resource in this site. Math at Home is filled with fun daily math activities, collection of practice pages, family games, and online games. Also in the Parent and Family Toolkit is a link to Second Step, our pre-K-5 social and emotional curriculum. Here you will find resources to use with your students in response to COVID-19 and more. The curriculum guides found on the Parent and Family Toolkit provide more information to the content in each grade level and ways that you can support at home. These curriculum guides are an excellent resource for you to understand the essential learning outcomes for your students in all of the content areas such as reading, math, social studies, and health.
Another resource for elementary families is Seesaw. It is a digital learning platform for our students in grades pre-K through 5. Seesaw in this digital learning platform allows teachers to communicate with students and family, to facilitate digital learning activities and assessments, and collaborate and create learning activities. There are 2 different Seesaw apps. There is a class app and there is a family app. And so today we're going to take a look mostly at the family app, but to notice the differences, the class app is for teachers and students to use. It is a place where the students will post their work and complete activities, and they will view things in their journal. Teachers will also be able to post to the journal, assign activities, send announcements, and message families. The family app, as it is stated, is for families. Students or families are not able to post to the journal or complete activities. Families view and engage with their child's journal and message the teacher. Families can only see their own child's post or the post that their child is tagged in. Typed text, messages, or comments can also be translated in the family app. When you log into the family app, you will see 3 tabs at the top: Home, Journals, and Inbox. In the Home tab, it shows all your child's or your children's posts from the last 60 days. The Journals tab allows you to view all the posts by the child or that are in your class. You are able to like or comment on any post in the Home or Journal tabs, or leave an audio comment by clicking on the microphone icon. The Inbox tab is where you will receive announcements from the teacher and school, and you can message the teacher one-on-one. Group messages are not available. On this next screen, what you're noticing here is another way for families to reply. Families are able to reply with messages back to the teacher, or they can attach a multimedia file to any message by clicking the plus icon. You can also adjust account settings like notification preferences by clicking your profile icon in the top left. The family app allows Seesaw messages to be translated. Anytime a message is able to be translated, the words "see translation" will appear, and then you can translate into your home language. To get started as a family, what you want to be looking for is an invite letter from your child's teacher. The invite letter will contain directions for creating an account and how to access Seesaw on your smartphone or computer. Once you are following that invite, then you will, so after you scan the invite code, there's a QR code there, you'll get a text message or an email, and then you will have to accept the invitation to view your child's journal. Teachers are able to connect up to 10 family members per student. Look for step-by-step directions in our parent and family toolkit on the website. These are just a visual of what some of those documents might look like.
Thanks, Melissa. She talked about Seesaw, which is used at our elementary school. So I'm now going to talk a little bit about Schoology, which is used in grades 6 through 12. And Schoology will continue, so it's been used for the last 5 years, as the digital learning platform with a few changes. One change you will see is a more consistent navigation and consistent structure and layout of Schoology courses. Courses will be organized by week with the most recent week at the top. And a checklist will be included for each week so that students and families will be able to more easily see what is going to be learned for the week. Another change Another change for this year is that Schoology will be the day-to-day gradebook by teachers. Teachers will enter formative and summative scores in the Schoology gradebook so that students and families can easily see what the assignment is, when it is due, when it was submitted, and what feedback was provided by the teacher. A grade of record will still be entered into Synergy at mid-try and at the end of the trimester. And Synergy will continue to be used to track attendance, health records, and standardized test scores. Parents and families, if they do not already have a parent account, will need to set one up. As a parent, students or parents will be able to see their students' assignments, course materials, student work, and in-progress grade. If you do not have a parent access code, contact any one of your students' teachers for the code. Another technology resource I wanted to highlight for parents on our family and parent website is the Common Sense Media program. Common Sense Media is a nonprofit organization that provides education and advocacy to families to promote safe technology and media for children. In Osseo, educators and library media specialists use the Common Sense digital citizenship curriculum to teach students about their digital footprint. Topics such as media balance, cyberbullying, privacy and security, and media literacy are included. And as an example, I have one of the latest videos, 6 tips for keeping kids motivated for online learning, as an example of what you would see on the website. Finally, if you do have help logging into a program or connecting with a teacher virtually, please know that we have technology support available. So the Technology Help Desk is available Monday through Fridays from 7:30 to 4 p.m. You can email help@district279.org or call 763-391-7180.
In addition to the student planners, which are in the student virtual backpack, we've added 3 different resources to the parent and family toolkit. The resource in the middle of the first row is a guide to supporting students as they read at home. Many subjects ask students to do this independently. There are some strategies that can be used to support students as they complete work. The next 2 resources are related to supporting our students' social and emotional health. Learning at home is stressful for many students, and today, in my case, for this working mom. The virtual calming room developed by staff at the Osseo Area Learning Center provides different types of strategies to deal with the challenging times, from breathing techniques, relaxing music, and visual relaxation. We've already used some of the breathing techniques in my home this morning, as our technology did not work. These resources can be accessed at any time and provide a break for students and families to pause and refocus. The last resource is related to self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to manage our emotions, behaviors, and thoughts in ways that produce positive results. There are several strategies in this slideshow that can be used with students and families K-12. By far, the best resource to support your student is by contacting their teachers.
As excited as we are to share with you the resources that we have created to support families and students, we know that there's more to do. We are currently working with our EL department to get all of the pieces that you have seen today translated so that they are more accessible to families and students. We also acknowledge that we will be continually updating and adding to the websites in order to respond to student and family needs. We hope that as you and your student use the resources, you will let us know what works well for you and what other supports you need in order for your student to be fully engaged in learning this year. At this time, we would like to invite you to ask any question that you have about the support shared this afternoon. If you have a specific question that you would like to ask, please type your question in the chat, and we will attempt to respond to as many questions as we can during this time. And Andy has been responding throughout to answer some of the tech questions that are happening. One of the questions I saw earlier in the chat was, will families from DLA get the QR codes for Seesaw? Yes, teachers will be communicating with families around the class QR code in order to sign up for the family Seesaw. Melissa, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I saw a question. Beatrix asked, we don't have the family Seesaw for kindergarten. Do we download it? Yes, you would go into self-service on the iPad. So kindergarten has iPads, and then go into self-service and you'll find the family, the Seesaw for Families app, and download that. If you are a parent on a Chromebook with your 4th or 5th grader, then Chromebooks are web-based, so there's no app to download. You would just visit the web-based version of Seesaw, which we should have that in the ASIO bookmarks in the upper left-hand corner of your student's device.
And parents and families can also download the family app if they have a smartphone themselves or another device as well.
I also noticed later that the class app is not opening. I don't know if we might need to troubleshoot that one-on-one, but I would also note that when your teachers are giving you your sign-in information, we will be using Clever to sign in to Seesaw this year. That is a change from last year. And so there'll be instructions coming from teachers. I believe most teachers are sharing that during their open house with families.
I saw a question, does pre-K, do pre-K students have Seesaw? Yes, they do. They also, so if your child is in voluntary pre-K, VPK we call it, or Title I pre-K, they will have access along with students who are in early childhood special education. And I believe that even students who are in early childhood family education now have access to Seesaw.
And there was a couple of questions on, will parents be able to see their student's planner to know what is due for them and when, and listing of assignments?
And that was referring, I believe, to Schoology.
So the answer to that is, as soon as a teacher puts an assignment in with a deadline, it will go to the calendar, and parents and students will both be able to see the deadlines.
The websites that we talked about today are all on the district website when you click on Ready to Restart. Let's see.
I saw a question in there about, is Synergy the same as Parent View? And the answer to that is yes.
If you are having questions that are specific to your site, you will need to contact that site. I saw a question specific to Fernbrook and to Weaver Lake, and those are both site questions that we don't have information about. Andy, there's a question about Brain, Pebble Go, Tumblebooks. Do you want to reply to that? Is in the spring last school year, when we all went into distance learning, our homeschool gave parents the login and password to access certain sites, BrainPop, Junior, Pebble Go, Tumblebooks. If we are doing DLA this year, will there be logins for those sites?
So maybe, so I can say, for example, Pebble Go and Tumblebooks will be accessed because those are district subscriptions. BrainPop, probably not, because that was a building purchase. So we're looking at the Distance Learning Academy. The resources that are currently available for all of our district students would still be available for Distance Learning Academy students.
And both Pebble Go and Tumblebooks are on the
they're in the backpack. Yep.
In the student backpack.
Yep. And then logins will be distributed through through teachers. So it would be if it was Schoology or in Seesaw.
So did I hear that I have to contact the Weaver Lake School to understand how these activities, extra STEM activities, will be done for DLA students?
So so if your student is enrolled in DLA, the information will come through DLA.
Okay, but for Weaver, there are value-added projects related in STEM schools that will come through DLA or through the school?
The curricular activities that your student will be engaged in will come through DLA.
Okay. Will a teacher be assigned will a DLA student have an assigned teacher?
Yes, your student assignments will be. So I saw a question about lots of different websites and logins. Actually, when you get to the student backpack or the teacher toolkit, there will be it will walk you through how to log into the different resources. So you won't have to remember them. You can just click on them and it'll show you each time how to do that.
I think there's a question on how do I download each app. If you are a pre-K through 5 student who has an iPad, then you would go to self-service. There's an icon on the iPads for downloading. If it is a 6 through 12, most of those are web-based and don't need downloading for the core tools we've been talking about today.
So that's where I'm confused. I got a 4th grader who got a Chromebook.
Yeah, I think that's a change for us this year. We've been K-5 iPads. This year we will be 4 through 12 Chromebooks and K through 3 iPads. So
Okay.
that's just us having to relearn that. Same thing with Seesaw is brand new this year, so sometimes I mistakenly call it Schoology as well.
I apologize. I was reading the chat and I just read what I saw in the, sorry.
I am.
I know I'm looking at the question about the iPad covers. I do believe, so that's our Department of Technology. I do that, and I'm sure that they'll come up with a process for distributing those covers.
Andy, are you able to speak to David's question at 2:35 about the monitoring and filtering software for our devices?
So I can speak to that. We do use Relay as a filtering for both iPads and Chromebooks. So the settings that are at school are the same that are at home. Parents, of course, can put additional filtering software onto their network as well. But do realize that we are filtering any device that is district issued.
So the question, will there be information on how to log in the first day of school? You will be getting information from your student's teacher on how to log in the first day of school. Brian, do you have information? I believe that this presentation will be recorded and posted on the website. I'm not sure if it will be emailed.
No, all the webinars that we're recording this week will be posted on Osseo Area Schools YouTube channel. So just Google on YouTube, Osseo Area Schools, and we'll have each of those up within 48 hours, so you can either go back and review it, or people who are unable to get onto this meeting due to limitations of attendance will be able to view it whenever they like to.
So all students in the Distance Learning Academy will be assigned teachers. You may not have gotten this information yet, but they will be assigned teachers this week. Andy or Melissa, do you want to answer the last question about what credentials to be used to log into Seesaw Family App by parent?
Yep, a parent would create an account, and then you have to wait for your teacher to give you an invite letter. That invite letter would have a code on it for you to add your student to your journal. And so you can't do anything until you get the invite letter. All you can do is just create your parent account, and then you have to wait for that letter.
So Andy, Melissa, questions about setting limits again on the iPad or Chromebook. Can you speak, either of you speak to that again?
I think I'm trying to keep up to date. So I will mention that our iPads and Chromebooks are managed at the district level. So for example, on an iPad, you are unable, a family member is unable to install an app that is not in self-service. So that would be correct, that you're not able to download an app, any app that's not there. As I mentioned before, we do have the filtering in place with Classroom Relay. In some cases, depending on your network, you're able to add additional filters, but in some cases you're not. So it probably depends on the network and the internet provider that you have.
So there's a question, are students allowed to work in a personal laptop?
Yes. So for example, most of the tools that we have are web-based. So Schoology, Seesaw, and many of the other tools we've talked about, G Suite, those are web-based. So students are able to use a personal laptop, or if they have access to another tablet, they can access those. For example, my son seems to like his phone. He thinks he can do a lot more on that. So he actually accesses Schoology through his phone.
Denny, you asked about the apps needed to be downloaded for fourth grade. Fourth grade would have a Chromebook, so again, most of those would be web-based. And I would say your child's classroom teacher is going to let you know the specific things to use. But Seesaw is going to be the primary tool, and then they may access different Google G Suite tools, as well as their OSSEO email account, which all of those things will be pinned to the Chromebook. We have that set in the OSSEO bookmarks tab.
And I'll just add, I think I saw a post about it seems overwhelming, and it can. And what I'll say is that students are not going to be using every single one of these tools on the first day. So in many times, Melissa works with 4th and 5th grade elementary teachers. We sort of talk about, let's start with one. So Seesaw would be the one app that students will be really learning to use and getting independent with that. And then a teacher might add another tool to that, to the Seesaw to use with that. But they're not going to have to learn everything at once. I would say too, I saw the question about using district issued equipment. We really do want them to use district issued equipment because we think we have the bookmarks already in place. We have self-service. So we encourage students to use the district issued equipment that they are receiving.
And I believe that goes along with the last question. It's much easier to support or to get that support from the help desk when you're using the district equipment and devices. Schoology will be updated to reflect this year's classes and information. It will be soon, but last year's information and classes will continue to remain open through the end of first try in order for students to access some of the learning that they maybe didn't have the ability to engage with last spring. Information will be coming out about picking up devices if you were not able to attend a site to pick up your device last week. So there will be information coming out shortly.
I'm also looking at Kelly's question about keeping a Chromebook over the summer for summer work. They can keep that. Because a Chromebook is web-based, there's no need to install any new software. It just might need to be updated. The browser might need to be updated.
And if you don't know how to do that update, certainly make a help desk ticket and we will be able to support you with that.
And I saw a question about busing information. We do not have that information, and you would need to connect with transportation in order to get busing information.
I would say Epic is free to a certain extent, but if you want unlimited use of the books and access to that, I think there is potentially a pay fee. I don't know, Andy, if you know more about that.
Yep, I think that is a building-based subscription. So it's primarily elementary schools are using Epic to have more access to digital content for books. I know that it is a freemium kind of feature. So if your school is using that, they'll probably give you more guidance about how to use that tool.
Information about teachers contacting families will be done through the site. So I do not have specific information about what day teachers will contact which students, but that will come through your site. That information will be sent out through your site, through the school that your students attend.
I'm looking at the question about bandwidth, and I don't know what a recommended bandwidth would be. So I don't have that information at this time.
Melissa, I believe you spoke to the links on Chromebook. Do you want to go over that one more time? I think there are a couple of questions about that. Or Andy.
Yeah, I think if I'm understanding correctly, when a student logs into their Chromebook, once they open up the Chrome web browser, in the upper left-hand corner, there should be a folder that says ASIO bookmarks. And within the ASIO bookmarks, we have a few that we have added that can't be deleted, such as if it was elementary, like a 4th or 5th grader, Clever would be on there. There might be a student survey on there. There might be access to anything that we felt was specific to that age group. So for 6 through 12, you would most likely see Schoology listed on there. I do believe at the bottom of the Chromebook, we have pinned Gmail, which is how they would access 4th and 5th graders would access their email on a Chromebook. That might be new for 4th and 5th grade because they're just used to using an iPad in the past, and they would just click on the mail tab in the iPad. So we have pinned that to the taskbar so that it would be easier access to locating their email, their @apps email.
And I'll just add on is that right now, some of the bookmarks may be more, if your child was in elementary last year and migrated to secondary, they might not be updated quite yet, but as we get through with creating and finalizing those school schedules, it will be updated as well on their Chromebook.
The last question, when students go back to school full-time, will students get to continue to use the equipment for the classes? That is our belief. That's what the plan is right now. So, yes.
That is our understanding too, is that the device that is assigned to your child is your child's device for the year. I think they've worked to find the funding to allow that to happen in our K-3 classrooms. Otherwise, 4th through 12th is already set for 1-to-1, and that is how that's been designed, or that's been approved.
Yeah, so our tech department worked hard last spring to try to pull together to be 1-to-1 for our K-3s. So we hope that will continue.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for your engagement today. We look forward to supporting you and your students throughout this year. I heard a quote this summer by Michelle Norris, who's a native of Minnesota, and this quote really resonated with me because it represents what we are striving to do as we begin the school year. She said, "We are all going through a significant period of evolution, and it means that there's an opportunity in that. It feels burdensome right now because so much has been taken from us. But there is such an incredible opportunity to decide how you want to show up in the new world, because it will be a new world. And my greatest hope is that we don't reach for normal, that we reach for better." So thank you again for today. It was really nice being engaged with you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.